All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as being self-evident. A pessimist is an optimist in full possession of the facts. The majority of men are not capable of thinking, but only of believing, and are not accessible to reason, but only to authority. It is difficult to find happiness within oneself, but it is impossible to find it anywhere else. A man can be himself only so long as he is alone, and if he does not love solitude, he will not love freedom, for it is only when he is alone that he is really free. Talent hits a target no one else can hit, genius hits a target no one else can see. We can regard our life as a uselessly disturbing episode in the blissful repose of nothingness. You are free to do what you want, but you are not free to want what you want. Marrying means to grasp blindfolded into a sack hoping to find out an eel out of an assembly of snakes. The person who writes for fools is always sure of a large audience. What people commonly call fate is mostly their own stupidity. If we suspect that a man is lying, we should pretend to believe him, for then he becomes bold and assured, lies more vigorously, and is unmasked. Man is never happy, but spends his whole life in striving after something which he thinks will make him so. We seldom think of what we have but always of what we lack. Therefore, rather than grateful, we are bitter. A high degree of intellect tends to make a man unsocial. The two enemies of human happiness are pain and boredom. Education perverts the mind since we are directly opposing the natural development of our mind by obtaining ideas first and observations last. This is why so few men of learning have such sound common sense as is quite common among the illiterate. The wise have always said the same things, and fools, who are the majority, have always done just the opposite. To use many words to communicate few thoughts is everywhere the unmistakable sign of mediocrity. To gather much thought into few words stamps the man of genius. Happiness belongs to those who are sufficient unto themselves. For all external sources of happiness and pleasure are, by their very nature, highly uncertain, precarious, ephemeral and subject to chance. The universe is a dream dreamed by a single dreamer where all the dream characters dream too. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Happiness consists in frequent repetition of pleasure. Mostly it is loss which teaches us about the worth of things. Hope is the confusion of the desire for a thing with its probability. No rose without a thorn, but many a thorn without a rose. If I maintain my silence about my secret, it is my prisoner. If I let it slip from my tongue, I am its prisoner. Buying books would be a good thing if one could also buy the time to read them, but as a rule the purchase of books is mistaken for the appropriation of their contents.